What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back at it to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater WAAAGH.
So this is a video series where we answer the questions left by you in the comment section below. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question, and the Sound Alchemist will punch his way to the answer. And that is what happened with Alan S. He asks, "Hey guys, thank you for answering my question." You're welcome. Love the channel. Awesome. Here are two new questions. We'll answer the first one. What chapter do you think will refuse the Primaris reinforcements? So far in the lore, none have refused the Primaris reinforcements.
Right. Because pretty much they all need them.
Right. But there is reasons why it's dangerous to accept Primaris Marines. Let's break it down.
One of the major things to not accept Primaris is you don't know their origins. You don't know where they're coming from. Space Marines are indoctrinated by the chapter themselves, so they pick out the recruits, they train them, they give them all the teachings, the armor, they become neophytes, then they become scouts, and then they're a full-fledged Space Marine. Now, there's like, oh, here's a full-fledged Space Marine. They're cool, just take my word for it.
Yeah, you're cutting out all of the steps that the chapter has specifically created to make sure that they have Space Marines that don't get corrupted.
Right.
So it's a huge risk by you taking in all these Primaris Marines, and then later on, it turns out that the Primaris Marines get corrupted, and now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have not only a chapter that's going corrupt, you have splinter cells in each chapter that is corrupt, and that they can work together in secret to destroy you. Kind of like some Alpha Legion crazy trick. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
And then you got to remember, even though this is going to be, you guys are going to scream heresy, and you guys are going to want to burn me, whatever, Guilliman still was, or he was revived with the help of Xeno's technology. So you don't know where his mind is at right now. So he's back, he seems like he's ready to fight the Emperor, but, you know, Primarchs are not impervious to corruption. Demon Primarchs are everywhere. So Guilliman sending these splinter cells everywhere, it could be a corruption on his part. Or even his, what's the guy?
Belisarius Call.
Yeah, we don't know his intentions. He could have done something pretty bad too. But again, he's a Primarch.
Yeah, this probably won't happen because then the odds would be so against the Space Marines that it's just like tidal wave. There's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
Because imagine they're the Blood Angels. They're practically dead right now. So these Primaris are going to be a huge faction of their forces. If there is an insurrection or they are corrupted, they can be wiped out at any time. The only ones that are pretty much hesitant are the Space Wolves. It's like, yeah, they're accepting of these new Primaris Marines, but at the same time, they're not 100%, willing to let them be brothers in their ranks.
Exactly. And then you have another question, and you said, why aren't I surprised by your answers? Because we speak the truth, and if you pay attention to the lore, the truth is out there. Next question.
This one is by Timend. How does the chapter turn traitor exactly? Is the chapter's Primarch was like, hey, we're all turning to chaos, and everybody goes, yeah, sure? Or is there a purge in the chapter? Do the traitors kill all the loyalists, or what happens?
There's different ways. Sometimes, yes, you have individuals who just say, hey, we're turning traitor now. It's usually the chapter master, and then they're like, no, and all right, we're gonna kill you then.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's more secretive, and like what the original Primarchs did, like Lorgar sent all his Space Marines that he knew were gonna be loyal to the Emperor out on the front lines. They die, and then what's left is your core supporters,
right?
Which are bad and neo-Nazi. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the opposite. You get two different ideologies and you pit them against each other, and whoever has the most supporters are going to come on top. Now, Garvio Loken was a huge what's the thing I'm talking about? He's an example of this. There's going to be a 40 facts on him, so stay tuned for that. Really, really good lore.
Yep. Next question comes from Xenophobic. Which one of you spends more time on his hair? I get a haircut every 3 weeks. How often do you get a haircut?
Usually I let it grow out for about 6 months and then I get it cut.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So me, I spend more money on my hair.
Now, if you're talking about hair on your head, that's a whole different story.
I always trim.
I like to make arrows pointing in different directions. So it's kind of like a Candyland board where it's like, go this way first and go down.
You do it with your tongue.
And go back 3 spaces.
Woohoo. Jackpot. Is there a jackpot in Candyland?
I think there is there? I'm thinking of Chutes and Ladders.
Next question.
This one's by 11X Gaming. If all the Thunder Warriors were executed by the first Space Marines, how are there still rogue bands of them attacking, like pirates?
If there's what?
If all the Thunder Warriors got executed, how are there rogue bands?
They didn't. There's a unit. Remember we talked about this last episode. There's a unit of them that survived. And Thunder Warriors are tough.
Oh, he says he watches almost all our videos.
Almost? Okay. That's cool. We're cool with that.
Yeah.
We're cool with like 3. Anyways, the Embodiment channel asks, I'm in Russia today. Who are the 40K Ruskies, Slav power?
Oh, the, what are those guys called? The Imperial Guard?
With the hats.
With the hats.
I think we've done a 40 facts.
Yeah.
Oh, Vostorian? No.
Valhallan Ice Warriors? Something like that?
No, those guys wear gray. You're talking about like the ones with the red, and then they have the hat, right?
Yeah. we did one. Do we have a playlist on Imperial Guard?
We do.
Yeah, so they're probably in there.
It might be the Valhallan people, but they're ice, and I guess Russia is north.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Next question.
This one is by Daniel W. Will the Men of Iron ever be a playable race?
No.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Next question comes from Harry's Boylan. Which one of you is taller? You can't tell from your sitting positions. Well, the warp elongates us, but the Sound Alchemist is taller.
Yeah.
And by elongates us, I'm not talking about height.
Oh, I'm elongated right now.
Next question.
Speaking of elongation, Casey Hayes asks, where do babies come from?
The warp. A demon stork, finds the baby. It enters in through a portal created in the male's ball sack. Or balls. Testicles.
Testes.
And then it gets shot out as a chaos sperm. And then you're born.
More or less.
Yeah.
Jeremy Scott, are you two brothers, friends, or lovers?
All 3 at the same time.
Yep.
This question comes from Danop. If a Calexius assassin walks through an orc wall, would he destroy it due to all the orcs? Due to all the orcs are psychers? No. So blanks affect orcs differently, because it's biological. So it's in their genes. They still maintain their their knowledge and all that kind of stuff. Much like in the Shadow of the Warp, when it comes into a planet, it's not like the Psychers and the Librarians inside the planet can't use their psychic powers anymore. You could still shoot them off. They might not be as strong or whatever, but sending a message outside, then you can't.
Right. It's basically like a bubble. It cuts it off, but there's still warp on the outside and warp on the inside. Just the inside's a little weaker, like he said.
But better. Put in a nicer, cleaner way.
I don't think so.
He batched it up, put it in one of those little containers with the different cubicles. You got your carrots right here. You got your pizza. You got your Lunchables.
You got your
Pineapples. Next question.
This one is by Irish Bear. Hey guys, great work. With the Silent King returning from his self-exile, with the discovery of the Tyranids, will there be any big role with the Necrons having fighting the Tyranids? If the Tyranids devoured the galaxy and the Necrons would be unable to get fresh bodies to return to, what would happen?
That's actually a really good question, and it's a question that we just answered last episode. But basically, GW's not going to cover that for a while. Just because in order to do that,